This will be a fun little video. So with Obelisk having coming out, which was the it's the update for Space Marine that recently dropped, and Obelisk is the name of the update, but it's also the name of the PvE operation that dropped. And a cool little thing that they added with this update was not only the Dark Angels Champions pack, but they also gave us the ability to customize the lens color for the helmets now, which is actually a really big thing, because now what we can do here is, along with having the DLC pack as well, the Dark Angels Champions pack, we can now make a Grey Knight, or at least my closest interpretation to a Grey Knight as we possibly can with what we have in the game, because I don't believe at any point that they're gonna add the armor pattern that's specific for Grey Knights. And while Grey Knights are my favorite chapter, I actually don't know what their pattern of armor is called. I just know that it's unique to them. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take my Vanguard here, and we're going to turn him into a Grey Knight, or again, at least the closest interpretation we have. So what I'm going to do is remove this pattern here, this heraldry, and I'm just going to pick a base pattern. Oh, and another cool thing about this update too is because of that change in the lens color, they also fixed the Salamanders chapter. So the default heraldry for the chapter for the Salamanders is actually appropriate now. So look at his lens color. It's actually green now, whereas before it was red, just like every other chapter. They also fixed the Blood Ravens as well. So Blood Ravens also has their appropriate eye color as well. So that's pretty cool. So it's really cool to see the Salamanders actually have their appropriate, like a full-on appropriate heraldry. So anyway, we'll just pick one, create, and then before we touch up on any of these other parts, we're just going to go here to the base color. And the closest gray I found so far is between Iron Warriors and Eshin Gray. I think for this one I'll use Eshin Gray. Eshin Gray is a little bit more matted as opposed to Iron Warriors. Iron Warriors is a little more glossy. And from some of my source material for Grey Knights, and I'll post up a couple pictures of Grey Knights here and there, including a Joy Toy action figure that I have of a Grey Knight, my Purgator, and he's a cool little guy. I'm trying to collect all of them. They're just kind of hard to find when they're in stock. But anyway, we'll do Eshin Gray as the base, and then just quickly color these as well. That should be it. And we're going to go ahead and add the helmet. And let's see, what else do we need? We'll add the pack, chest piece, and both of the legs. The other leg is already there. So now we're going to start from the top, starting with the lens color. And I think what I'll do quickly is change the helmet. And you could use the Vanguard helmet, but I don't really like the Vanguard's helmet at all. Even though it might be cool to some people, I just don't like the aesthetic of it. I kind of just prefer the standard Primaris helmet. But there is the Dark Angels helmet, which comes with a little hood. This is part of the Champion pack. And there's also the Mark 7, which is the Firstborn helmet. The thing that sucks about this DLC, before we get into actually creating the Grey Knight, and why you'll see mixed reviews on the DLC, is because you still, even though I own the DLC, I still have to actually unlock all the heraldry for all the successor chapters, because this update not only includes the Dark Angels Champion pack, the actual skin for the Bullworkk, and I'll show that here shortly, but it also includes the Dark Angels successor chapters as well, and you still have to unlock all these with your prerequisites. I actually used about 1,000 of them to unlock all the armor pieces besides the helmet, the Mark 7 Aquila helmet, because I ran out of requisition points. So I'm slowly rebuilding it and eventually going to get around to creating a Firstborn Marine, but it's kind of difficult to create a Firstborn Marine when the overall armor pattern that they're using is the Primaris Mark 10 Tacticus armor, which is exclusive to Primaris Marines. We don't have the full Mark 7 Aquila armor, so it looks a little strange. The helmet looks very strange on a Tacticus armor, but it is what it is. We're kind of happy that it's there anyway. I was kind of hoping that they also released the beak helmet that is that was made iconic by the Raven Guard. But anyway, so what we're gonna do is actually gonna use the Dark Angel's helmet as part of that DLC pack. And then for this is actually the Death Watch Pauldron, but the inscription on it, on the Pauldron itself, is actually very Grey Knight. And I think I have a picture of a Grey Knight that has this specific Pauldron, but the lettering itself is yellow. And unfortunately, you cannot customize the Death Watch Pauldron, so what you see is what you get. For now, I'll use the Dark Angel's Pauldron because it's actually very Grey Knight as well, because Grey Knights use the sword in particular as part of their heraldry. So I'll use that for now. And for the other, I don't have all the armor pieces unlocked for the Vanguard. I think I still need a couple pieces, but I think those are just for gauntlets. And for this, I think I might use this armor piece just so it matches the chain. I really like the chain on that forearm. Everything else is fine. Now we'll go and customize him, start turning him into a Grey Knight. So the base is already there. Okay. So for the lens color in particular, and this is why I wanted to create Grey Knights, because Grey Knights use a kind of like a teal-ish color, very light blue. So when I was looking through, Night Lord's blue doesn't work. It's too saturated. The McCrag blue, it's not saturated enough. That you need a kind of a happy medium between these two. Then there's also Lothern blue. I can't pronounce that. Is that kind of a tongue twister? Lothern blue. It's too sky blue. So I think the best choice I've seen so far is Sotek green. And I've already made a Grey Knight type of pattern for my other classes. And when you look at Sotek green in darker conditions, when you're in a shadowy area or something, the Sotek green actually really appears very reminiscent of the Grey Knight's lens color in particular. So I've been using Sotek green because I believe it's the closest option we can get, and I think it looks more appropriate. Now we'll scroll down to the pack. So usually for other classes, you can customize just the trim piece of the pack. I'm using red as far as the trim piece goes, but since for the Vanguard, I don't know why we're coloring the whole backpack. I am just going to leave it as is. Pattern-wise, yeah, we'll just leave it. Let's see, the chest piece, they do use gold trim pieces on Grey Knights, so we'll keep that as is. I might switch out the chest piece for something else, but one thing to note when trying to make Grey Knights is they're very particular about their purity seals, which is this thing right here. That's called a purity seal, which is just a whole bunch of holy script and such, and Grey Knights being who they are, they carry a bunch of these. So the more purity seals you have, the better for the aesthetic portion of the heraldry. Now for the pauldrons, they do use a mix between reds and whites and a little bit of yellow. Now there is a pauldron that you can unlock from something called Lincoln a Pros account. I might post a picture of what that looks like, but it's a halved pattern, so you can actually split it in half between red and white, which actually looks good and might look perfect for it, but I don't have that pauldron piece. So I think for now what I'll do is leave it red, just so the gold, just so this little gold thing here accent can be, it's better contrast on the red. And then we'll leave the trim piece as gray, and then move on to the other pauldron piece. Again, this one could be left white, or we could do a yellow, or just keep it silver or gray, because it already has some red on there, which is good contrast for color. I think what I'll do is I'll just leave it with just the regular gray. Now for the legs, so with the legs you can put a little emblem on. What I like to do is these markings here are also part of the Dark Angels champion pack. I do like to use 4th company and 8th company markings because they're they're closest to what what we have available. That's close to what Grey Knights use for their heraldry. So I'll equip 8th Company, and then it's just, again, just switch it between red and white, because all of the trim pieces on a Grey Knight, including their little shield pieces on their pauldron and breastplates, they're always going to have a mix between reds and whites. So that's kind of what you want to go for. And let's see, for this pattern, we'll go with this checkered piece and see what looks best. So I think what I'll do, yeah, I think I'll just leave it red and no, white. That piece, and then we'll color the black red as well. See how that looks. We could just get rid of this one here, or actually what I'll do is I'll leave this here, since there is no trim piece on the kneecap. I'll leave this one and get rid of this emblem, since there is a trim piece, that skull, and then we'll just color that skull gold. Liberator gold is the standard color for trim pieces. Another one that's kind of good is Retributor armor, and another one is Sycorax bronze. It's actually a cool looking bronze. For now, I'll just keep it as Liberator gold. I'll make changes later if I want. And that's really all there is to it. I don't think the Vanguard is the best option, but I will scroll through my other classes. I think the Tactical Marine Hat and the Bullworkk. I think the Bullworkk is actually the best option to make Grey Knights. So it's not too bad. I wish we could color the skull piece right here on the back red, but we can't because the whole backpack is your only color choice. There is a purity seal on it, so I mean, that's good enough, but the Vanguard, I think, has the fewest amount of purity seals when it comes to the accents on the trim pieces. I think what we'll quickly do before I show you the other classes, we'll scroll through, see what else he has. Could do that, but chains are better for... chains is a better aesthetic for Grey Knights, but this one does have purity seals, but I just don't like that the emblem is replaced with a decal, but the purity seals is what's making this a nice option. This one too, but it has a very small purity seal. I think if we had the 2 purity seals from this part, on this part here, I think that would actually be best. I think we'll just leave that for now because the chains is a good aesthetic for Grey Knights. Let's see, the chest piece. Here is the chest piece, the breastplate for the DLC for Dark Angel's Champion DLC. I'm not sure if that works because what kind of sucks about the shield in particular on the breastplate is it's part of the trim piece, so I can't color that red as much as I would like to. It's just going to match the breastplate, so that kind of sucks. Let's see what else. No, again, the chains, but Grey Knights aren't really walking around with tactical equipment stuck to them. Yeah, this is the best choice just because it is the only piece that gives you a purity seal. Let's see, for the gauntlets, I like the chain on this one, but this one also has a purity seal. Still need one more mission to unlock this thing, although this wouldn't look good on a Grey Knight. Purity seal or chain. Actually, yeah, let's just do that just because it is a nice purity seal. And then this is actually just the gauntlet piece. So I think that's the best we can do. I think, yeah, no purity seals on this guy. So, yeah, there you go. I think this is the best I can do to interpret a Grey Knight on a Vanguard. Grey Knights do not use Phobos armor, so this guy would never exist as a Grey Knight, or maybe in newer lore. I'm not completely up to date on Grey Knight lore, but I just do know that they don't have any Phobos armor in their arsenal. So that is the Vanguard. Now I'm going to show you the Bullworkk, because the Bullworkk has the highlights of it all. So as you can see here, and I'll post up a picture of a Grey Knight side by side, because the Bullworkk has the best canvas, so to speak, to make a Grey Knight because of the helmet. The helmet in particular is what makes a Grey Knight so unique looking, and I'll Again, I'll show that picture side by side. So not quite the same, but has the same style, so to speak. But if you look at it, obviously he's melee, and Grey Knights are all about melee. They have very strong melee on top of them being super strong psychers. But there's a lot of options you can do. This is just my interpretation of a Grey Knight as a Bullworkk. Although again, you could also mess around with, actually go to armor. Oh yeah, and here's the Dark Angels champion. You can't customize him. The heraldry is not available to customize, so this is what you see is what you get. You do get to pair it with a cool little sword and plasma pistol. That's also part of the DLC. So it's a pretty cool looking champion pack. I like this more than the Ultramarines champion. Hopefully the next champion that comes out is for the Vanguard. So you could do the Bullworkk helmet. They don't wear this helmet at all. They don't have, Grey Knights aren't overly eclectic on the way they collect and stylize their helmets. You could always go for the helmeted look. There are some Grey Knights out there that do walk around with a helmet option. You can also switch out for the standard Tacticus pattern helmet. But I mean, like I said, this is the closest helmet you'll get to a Grey Knight. And I'll just keep this just to have it, give it a nice little trim piece right there. Now we'll move on to Assault Marine. This is my interpretation of what an Assault Grey Knight could possibly be. I don't think Grey Knights have any Assault Marines in their chapter. I don't think anyway, but it's just, I'm kind of just interpreting it again. Tactical Marine, I think Tactical Marines came out really good. I do like the Pauldron pieces in particular for the Tactical Marine are very over the top, and I think they suit him well. I really like this Dark Angels Pauldron. It fits well for the overall theme of making a Grey Knight. And then of course their waistband, or their war gear as they call it, it's chainmail, and that does fit the aesthetic of the Grey Knights. So this guy I think is possibly my favorite, my best looking one. Although the heavy, I just finished the heavy, and the heavy is coming out really good. So I have a full team of Grey Knights, except for the sniper. I haven't really messed around with the sniper a whole lot. As you can see, I don't have much going on for him, just because I don't really care for sniper classes. He's not fun to play, and that's kind of just my thing. I have played him enough to the point where I've at least got mastercrafted last field, but yeah, I just don't find the sniper class to be that enjoyable. Plus, all of his armor pieces, as I was scrolling through, nothing gives me ideas on how to make him into a Grey Knight because of the cloak. And then, of course, here's the heavy. I think the heavy actually came out really nice, because look at all those purity seals. And the boot. The leg option here, that this particular emblem is actually very Grey Knight. This is something you're going to see on a lot of Grey Knights, is that particular emblem. This fits really well. This is why I think he came out the best. I do like his breastplate, giving you a little shield right here on his pauldron piece. I gave him the Deathwatch pauldron because it is, again, the inscription and on the pauldron itself is very Grey Knight. Again, purity seal on his wrist. Obviously the big skull and feather emblems. I don't know what this emblem in particular is called. I think that's just this the signia. No, this is the signialis of the Imperium, which is the breast piece. I was going to looking through the breastplates, because the thing I don't like about this particular breastplate is this ribbon piece, whatever this is supposed to be. I don't like it. If this wasn't here, this would be the perfect chest piece, because again, I love those purity seals. The Dark Angels breastplate, it's too bland. It doesn't do much to make him stand out, as opposed to this, because this doesn't. I wish that this guy had at least some purity seals, but that's why this is a really good armor piece. This one, not the greatest, because I don't like the shield on the pauldron. It's got a yellow stripe on it, and you can't customize that. Otherwise, I would use this instead, because that breastplate is also very reminiscent of what Grey Knights have on most of their chest pieces. I just don't like the fact that you can't color that that shield on his pauldron piece. Whereas this one, the default color scheme for that is it's gray and red, and got a little bit of that yellow right there in that corner, right here, which is good because, you know, some Grey Knights will actually have a little bit of red and yellow mixed in, but it's mostly, their heraldry is mostly red and gray. So that's why I believe my heavy came out. My heavy in particular is actually the best looking one, and he's like the closest looking one we have to a Grey Knight. If he had the helmet, the actual helmet that the Bullworks have too, I think would have been almost 1-to-1. Again, they use a different pattern armor. Maybe I'll put that name of the pattern armor up here somewhere. I've never actually looked up what their armor pattern is called, but yeah, that's why I wanted to make this video, because I made these Grey Knights simply because of the fact we can color the lenses of our helmets. That's why I made these Grey Knights. Now, yeah, I'm sure you've seen Grey Knights on Reddit or something, people making their own Grey Knight cosplays, their own Grey Knight drip. This is just my interpretation of Grey Knights. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little video. The next video that's going up will be part 5 or part 6 or whatever. It's one of the next part of the Warhammer 40k Demon Gate. I know that those videos have been doing really well on this channel so far, but I wanted to just make this really quick again. It's still Grey Knight content, so yeah. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.